putting you a little bit on the spot, maybe, but you were the last person to compete on the stage representing District 24. We've been discussing different things about our speeches, development, how to handle different situations, but can you give us some insight into what it was like to compete on the international stage? Because none of us here have done that.
It is nerve-wracking, especially when you're a rookie like me. It was nerve-wracking. The first time I did it, whew, my drive, my sense of competition and stuff, I practiced and I went out of breath. And I learned two things from that. You can't say it all. I know you want to make your speech as pretty as possible. You want to add all kind of jokes or amazing things. My speech was like 6 minutes and 40 seconds or 50. But me over practicing, I couldn't say everything fast enough. So I went, uh, do we have an eye counter? I just
We're
started
not doing
arguing.
that tonight.
I give you a pass, Eric.
Thank you. I went, timer, please keep me on board as well. Sometimes, like right now, I was about to talk about time. I went over time, and there was no. It was painful. So after that, I was like, I'm not gonna make a long speech anymore. Basically, what I've learned from this journey is that the trophy is not the end to a means. It's just a means to an end. Competing has made me a better person. I remember the first time I ever competed, I didn't even know I was competing. It was my first year as a Toastmaster. They say, hey, club contest. I thought it was like a Halloween party because in America, there's always something to celebrate, every month. So I just went out there and I spoke, from my gut. And they're like, oh, Eric is a winner. I thought that was the end. And then they're like, area contest. I was thinking, just go do it. And I won the table topic and I lost the international. And then it turned it like, I realized it was a competition. And I went at the table topic, the next level. And my first thing was, I know everybody came to compete. I'm not really exactly what I said, but I know I'm going to win this, whatever. I don't even know why I said that. To me, competition was like, I was hoping that the other people make a mistake. I would be sitting and watching it. As soon as somebody make a mistake, I'm like, yes, more chance for me. And it didn't work that way. That was my first year as Toastmaster in Savannah, Georgia, and I moved to Omaha, Nebraska. And since then, I've been at 281. Those people let me practice every single day. Sometimes we have too many speakers. People leave me a spot to just speak. I was able to practice more than enough. And I've also seen in the questions that where my inspiration, where the topics. A lot of you guys have seen most of what I talk about was about my son. And it's like, there is this thing that I've heard Tony Robbins talk about, the reticular activating system. It's basically wherever you're sitting, there are a bunch of things around you, but your mind cannot focus on all of that. But if you see a car and you like that car, you're going to start seeing that car everywhere. Your mind is going to remind you, wow, we saw that car. I like that car. It's like that. Before the car didn't exist, but now you see it everywhere. It was the same thing. I love my son so much. And he's like, it's a bittersweet situation. He's a boy. He's super active. So we're always into it. But something told me, hey, you can learn a lot from this. And I started watching him. And I love being around kids. And topics started coming. And another thing that made me be able to speak even off the cuff is most of the time I speak from the heart. That's my best weapon. If you see me talk about Dr. King, my God, I'm going to go overtime, things like that. So that's why in my club, sometimes when I go to speak, we don't have enough speakers. Sometimes I know on my way there, I'm thinking about things. In 20 minutes, I can come up with a topic. And I told them, this is not for me to show off or whatever. It is just what make me speak from the heart. It's something that's so dear to my heart. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to guess. It's just a story. Like, what's your mom name? You know, what's your birthday? You know, things like that. And even sometimes, if they give me table topics that I'm not aware of, I take a minute and I try to link it to something that I'm passionate about. And I go ahead. Last time I won table topic, I think it was, that's the year that I won 2 trophies at the same time. That year, it was like something that made you freak out or whatever. I froze for a second. And then I went to my heart. And exactly the night before too, I was almost frozen because I was practicing. It's the same speech that took me to the international the first time. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. I was following a lot of motivational speakers at the time, and it was like grind, grind, you know, no pain, no gain. So I was putting all the effort, and I didn't know that I could make this thing effortless. Speaking, when it becomes effortless, it becomes speaking. Speaking, when it's forced, you say things that you don't really want to say sometimes. And while I'm talking about that, I remember when I was in Georgia, my first year, there was a table topic. I'm never gonna forget that situation. It was a table topic. You're supposed to come out and talk about a company for 2 years, like a commercial. This young lady came out and she killed it. I think she was the area director. I went right after her and I tried to speak like her. I went fast and I say a bunch of dumb stuff. And I'm never gonna forget that. And I say, Eric, I am never following anybody's flow again. And at that moment, I was creating the easy busy personality slowly. And I say, wow, what if this is your personality? So I created a personality. It is not an actor's personality. It is just my speaking personality. And it's half my real life and half what I do when I'm on stage. Half of that personality is about just goofing off. 25% is about emotions. And that other 25% is about being professional. Watching people like President Obama, how elegant they are on stage. So slowly but surely, I found my signature move. So every time I freeze, I go back to easy busy mode. And I remember at UNO, 1 year we competed. I was speaking in my intro and I froze. I forgot the rest of the speech. But sometimes I know that my hands are always moving. My body language, it can be my strength and my weakness. So I walked around a little bit and my mind went back to easy busy mode again. And I didn't use the intro that I was supposed to use, but I knew my story. I went back to it and it helps me a lot. So when it comes to speech preparation, time helped me a lot. I used to speak and record it before I write it. Keith John was one of the few people who told me, one of the people, not a few, write your speech, write your speech. I would never write a speech. I will record it, I'll go over time. And I always do my speeches in 3 or 4 bullet points. While I'm driving, I always have an imaginary driver on my side. I'm just talking to the person. I'm just trying to pour my soul out. And that's how I remember my speeches, but it was not enough. It was not organized enough. And that leads me to the next step, which is feedback. Feedback, wow. Something that humbles me is feedback. Because without the feedback of Toastmasters of Omaha, I wouldn't have been to the international. I've had feedback from advanced speakers who told me about left and right directions on stage and things like that I didn't know. And I also find amazing things from people who are not, they will never compete. It will be just a slight little thing. But I think about it and it blows my mind. So to anybody of you, and most of you, almost everybody among you, you've given me feedback before, and I'm really appreciative when it comes to that. And to close it, I'm gonna come back to the fact that the trophy is not the end. I became a better person because I competed. I became a better speaker. I don't wish somebody make a mistake anymore. Last time I was on an international stage, To be honest with you, I was a little frustrated because this never went out. They picked 3 people. The person that had picked third, I thought to myself, how come this guy's third? I'm not saying I'm supposed to be third, but they were better speeches. But again, it taught me a big lesson. It's not about what you think. There are 7 people. You have to make it appealing. That's why you have to add a little bit of everything. I remember it's key for somebody who told me once there was a blind judge. I was blown away. Now it taught me, again, Eric, remember, this is not a competition. Forget about who wins. Just become a better speaker. And for the past couple of years, I've not competed because I know no matter what, my drive is going to make me. Because every time I'm driving, I'm thinking about subject. I'm thinking about that thing. It drives me crazy because I'm always trying to find ways to make my speech a little better. You guys saw me jumping on chairs and things. I don't think I'm ever going to do that again. But what that taught me, I had a strong accent and I used to speak fast in my body language. And another thing, I'm probably sure I'm going over time now, but I'm going to just say this story and that's the end. My strength, my weakness was my strength. The fact that I'm not from here. People are used to hearing American story. And I thought to myself, come out with stories that are out of the blue. Use your personality. Yes, you're active. So jump on a chair. I've seen singer Usher just jump on the chair and do things. And I say, how can I make my story and tie it to a chair? And boom, I came out with 4 pillars, like 4 things. My speech was about how to make something consistent. The first time I went international, and I linked it to jumping on the chair. It was catching. I ended up not jumping at international, I believe, or whatever. But it really makes me think. It makes me think, and that's it. The last point. Sorry, I gotta say that. Before, I used to speak and want to impress people. When people say, hey, you could have done the speech like that, I'll be like, oh, no, I know, Now, with experience, I realize the people who know more talk less. The people who know more take all kind of feedback. They are never quick to jump to, they don't act like they know more because they know if you know more, you always need that extra thing because you cannot see 360 all the time. You cannot. So now I never act like I know. Even sometimes I go to places, I don't want to be that guy who went international. I don't want it. Because sometimes, sometimes celebrities, you become so high that you lose a sense of direction. You think like you're invincible. But the person who want to go far, if you realize the biggest people on the stage, the biggest people in history are the people who are very humble. I didn't want to lose that. So sometimes if I hide away from that international coach, please don't. To be honest with you, sometimes I don't like it because I want to be little again and have that drive to fight to make better speech. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't competed. And also I've been super busy lately. Competition is going to take a lot out of me. So I probably spoke for 12 minutes now. I didn't see timer show me anything, but that's what I have for you guys. Thank you for having me.
Eric, I'm so glad you're here. I always get wound up. Your energy is infectious. So thank you. We've had a lot of discussion over different things about speech